thank both Pooja as well as Rajesh for bringing us all those developments from Kolkata at the time that these protests are taking place, being led by Mamata Banerjee herself. Now, it's day 17 of the war in the Middle East, but there are no signs of any de-escalation yet. In fact, if anything, both sides continue to increase their attacks. Israel has said that it has thousands of targets still left to target in Iran, while on the other hand, Iran continues to strike neighboring countries in the Middle East. Meanwhile, the Americans are shifting focus to the Straits of Hormuz. President Donald Trump has called on other countries now to assist the United States in reopening the strait. But oil markets are clearly not impressed by any of such efforts so far. The prices have continued to climb amid persistent disruptions to global energy supplies. Brent crude, which is the most important global oil benchmark, has crossed 106 per barrel before easing slightly. It's currently trading at approximately 105 a barrel. After early losses, Indian benchmark indices are back into the green. The Sensex has gained 1,000 points to trade above 75,500. Nifty, on the other hand, is up 300 points. As the global oil shock forces governments to take emergency measures, countries across the world are now scrambling to manage fuel supplies as well as prices. China has also announced its biggest retail fuel price hike in 4 years. New Zealand is considering temporary car use restrictions and has also announced to release 6 days of oil reserves. Japan has become the first G7 country to tap emergency reserves. It's also begun releasing strategic oil reserves amid its heavy dependence on oil coming from the Middle East. Australia, Germany are also among countries that are pulling emergency triggers right now. In contrast, India has so far avoided drastic steps. No petrol or diesel price hike just as yet. Neither are there any vehicle or fuel restrictions. Officials say that India currently has approximately 8 weeks of oil stocks and has not tapped into its strategic reserves just as yet. Now, while the centre has been trying its level best to secure India's fuel and energy supplies, including through the sensitive Straits of Hormuz, the opposition, many accuse the opposition right now of fear-mongering. Opposition members of parliament have staged a demonstration on the stairs of the parliament complex, holding a large banner that read, "Narendra bhi gayab hai, LPG cylinder bhi gayab hai." Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was also seen participating in those protests and raising slogans. Akhilesh Yadav, who heads the Samajwadi Party, was also seen holding up a large cutout of a red LPG cylinder.
बीजेपी जानबूझ करके कराती है और दूसरे को बदनाम करती है। बीजेपी के पास एक टीम है जिसको पैसे देते हैं ये लोग बदनाम करने के लिए, और करते करते बदनाम अब बीजेपी के अधिकारी बीजेपी को ही परेशान कर रहे हैं। बताइए, बदनाम कर रहे हैं। लापता गैस इसलिए कि किसी योगी से हम उम्मीद नहीं कर सके वो झूठ बोलें, और जो लोग विश्व गुरु बनना चाहते थे वो लोगों को लाइन में ना खड़ा करें। ये कोई पहली बार आम जनता लाइन में नहीं खड़ी हुई है। नोटबंदी रही हो, कोविड रहा हो, ऑक्सीजन के समय जो किल्लत आई वो, और आज एलपीजी के लिए हम खड़े हुए हैं।
India is passing through a very critical time because of this Iran-Israel war, and I am sorry to say that generally people think that our Prime Minister knew it when he was in Israel. Israel was going to attack on Iran, but anyhow, we are passing through very difficult time, and it is the responsibility of government of India and state governments to take care of all those people who are trying to take benefit of this situation. And I am told, I may be wrong, that those who are trying to take benefit, they have relationship with BJP leaders.
Now, while this was happening outside the parliament, the atmosphere inside the house was no calmer. In the Rajya Sabha, the leader of the opposition raised the LPG issue yet again, claiming that several dhabas and hotels have shut down due to supply shortages. He also alleged that cylinders are being sold at higher prices amid this crunch. Let's listen to what Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge had to say.
देश के करीब हर हिस्सों में इसका असर पड़ रहा है और घरों में लोग परेशान, छोटे छोटे ढाबे वाले, रेस्टोरेंट्स, हॉस्टल्स, सब पर असर गिर रहा है। कम्युनिटी किचन्स से लेकर सभी रसोई तक बंद है। पर ही MECM भी और दूसरे कमर्शियल यूजर्स को भी एलपीजी सिलेंडर्स में मिलने की भारी दिक्कत हुई है। ये चिंता की बात है कि कई एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ने अपने ऑपरेशन सीमित बंद कर दिए हैं। कुछ ऊंचे दामों पर 5,000 प्रति सिलेंडर से अधिक कीमत पर खरीद कर रहे हैं।
Now, the Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, also hit back and accused opposition leaders of spreading misinformation and refusing to listen even when answers are being provided in the House by the concerned ministers.
बाकी लोगों से ज्यादा समय How many 1 minute करके जी प्लीज कंक्लूड लोकसभा में उन्होंने अरुण जी प्लीज
और ईरान में जो लड़ाई चल रही है का भी डिस्कशन यहाँ होना चाहिए। और यही मूल कारण है हम
कांग्रेस के लोग स्टेटमेंट नहीं सुने सर और पूरा आके डिस्टर्ब किया, वो स्टेटमेंट का मांग किया और 4 बजे उन्होंने कहा कि राहुल गांधी जी बोलना चाहते हैं, वो एलपीजी में फिर नहीं बोले और फिर इधर उधर का बात करके जब पेट्रोलियम मिनिस्टर ने स्टेटमेंट दिया तो फिर सारे कांग्रेस एमपी पूरा हंगामा करके स्टेटमेंट नहीं सुने, फिर यह मुद्दा उठाते हैं, जब जवाब देते हैं तो सुनते नहीं है। ये तो बहुत गलत बात है।
Well, let me get a word in from our consulting editor, Srinjoy Chaudhary, on the influence that India is now seeking to exercise to ensure safe passage of India-flagged as well as India-bound and Indian ships that are currently stranded near the Straits of Hormuz. Our diplomatic engagements with Iran from the past as well have come in quite handy, Srinjoy, in negotiating a safe passage for some tankers to move through the sensitive Straits of Hormuz and eventually make their way towards India. But as per the interministerial briefing that was held last week as well as earlier today, there are almost 22 ships carrying supplies of LPG as well as chemicals and fertilizers that are India-bound, that are currently still stranded near the Straits of Hormuz, for which India has now been negotiating a safe passage with Tehran. Tell us about how that's proceeding and how important that is in the light of everything that's playing out with respect to the debate that we're witnessing in India over the LPG issue.
Well, first of all, India has a civilizational relationship with Iran. Now that goes back many hundred years, and at this time it is going to be a help. Secondly, India is, and both sides know, the Israelis and the Americans know, the Iranians know, we are not involved in this fighting in any way. So as a result, this level of neutrality, you can call it that.
Right. Srinjoy, we'll try to patch that line once again with you. We're having some issues there, but clearly India leveraging its historical ties with Iran to negotiate a safe passage for vessels that are India-bound through the Straits of Hormuz. We'll take a short break. We'll come back with more on the other side.